everyone. Welcome to the Game Junk Podcast, episode 211, recording on Monday, October 28th, 2024. My name is Frank.
My name is Sean.
And my name is Andrew.
And this might be a notorious quickie episode. We'll see. We'll be giving you our first impressions of the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 campaign and talking a bit about some other stuff we played. Not a whole lot. I gotta be honest. I am not in a gaming mode. I've phased out of gaming temporarily. Sometimes I just can't pull myself away from the controller. And this week I had to force myself to play something. It's very strange.
Is this like the fall depression setting in, or what's going on here, Frank? What's going on in the life of Frankie?
No, I for whatever reason, I just want to watch stuff. I want passive experiences, and I'm just crushing content all day. But just when I go to play something interactive, I'm just not feeling it for whatever reason. But Sean is, look, we got to give props. Sean is gaming hard these days. He's beaten Star Wars Outlaws.
I played a few things. We'll get into it.
Well, let's get into it. Starting with the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on Game Pass. I think that's one of the reasons why Sean might be getting into it this year.
Yeah, I mean, this is Microsoft's big bet. We'll see how it works out for them.
Is this their big bet?
I mean, I think
big bet.
You know, the Activision acquisition, a big part of it was this. Whether that translates to Game Pass new subscribers, I don't know, but I guess we'll find out.
I would say even if it doesn't translate to Game Pass new subscribers and no one buys it on Xbox, they still at least get 30% of the take of...
Yeah, that's true.
30%, 70%, whatever it is, whatever their percentage is from Sony. And, you know, they are going to be making some money regardless, because if you know people are buying Call of Duty, so they are getting money. So if they can get some Xbox subscribers and still get the like 5x sales on PlayStation, then, you know, they're going to be doing pretty good, I think.
Yeah, everywhere I look, there's ads for Call of Duty. Pretty like, have you seen their ad campaign with the Replacer, played by Peter Stormare?
That's the one that always plays during football, right?
Yeah, and it's like he is taking over different things. It's brutal, but it's everywhere. I can't get away from it. So, all right, let's get into the campaign a bit. I am about 4 missions in, put about 3 or 4 hours in. Sean, how about you lead us off here? You're coming back to Call of Duty for the first time in a long time.
That is true. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm about the same. I'm like on the 4th mission, I think, which is kind of the open worldy one. I don't know if that is ringing a bell for you, Frank.
I just completed that one, and I had to complete every objective on the map, which
of course
was not fun.
So, I mean, this is the thing with Call of Duty. I probably haven't really played since like the original Modern Warfare, like Call of Duty 4, basically. I mean, I've dabbled here and there. Like I've played a little bit of Black Ops 3, I think. And like I bought Cold War, never played it, but intended to. And there's maybe one other in there. But you know, just it's one of those things where it's like it comes out and it's like I'm not really interested in the multiplayer, but I'm curious about the campaign because, you know, they always kind of are pushing the cutting edge somewhat, and they're fairly short and they're just kind of like fun blockbuster experiences. But I just don't usually want to spend $90 for that. So this time around worked out. You know, it's on Game Pass, so I decided to check it out. And I mean, couple of things right off the bat, I was kind of like, oh, okay, this is a little more fun, a little more my kind of thing than I thought it would be. Like Black Ops obviously has a bit of a spy stealth element to it. I don't think I realized, like Black Ops 3, I think was the one I played a bit of, and I don't remember much of that in it. So I don't know, maybe I just didn't play enough, but But yeah, pretty quickly in this one, I mean, you're like, driving remote control cars with like explosives on them. You're,
I feel like those have been in most campaigns in recent memory.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, infiltrating a political event and trying to talk to people, sneak behind guards to get stuff. And you know what? I'll talk about this with Star Wars Outlaws, but when it comes to stealth stuff, what I've been finding is that I do like stealth, but I don't like it when it's sort of like an instant fail as soon as you alert the enemy. I want the option to, if the enemy gets alerted, okay, now I go to plan B, I start shooting, I try to hide, and maybe the alert level comes back down again. As long as you have some other options, it's fun. And so this kind of falls into that category. But I don't know. I'm imagining that some people don't like the stealth elements of these games, the Black Ops ones, but I like it. It gives a bit of variety to it from what I've seen. And other than that, like the actual gunplay feels really good. I think that's something Call of Duty has always been good at, and so I appreciate that. And then the other
setting up a bridge between those two ideas. I thought the way they did stealth, I can't remember a game that's done this before, but it vibrates when you're seen by someone. And I thought that was extremely effective.
Yeah, although you don't always know who's seeing you. Like, I guess you kind of got to look around and eventually you might see a marker that'll kind of indicate.
But at least you're in someone's view. I thought that where sometimes the in-game UI elements can be tough to see and confusing from direction. I'm surprised no one's done that before. I'm sure someone has, but I haven't played a game that had that.
Yeah, I did like that. And then just the other thing, I have no idea if this has been in any other Call of Duty games, but like you're in this safe house that's kind of like your hub in between missions. And it's got little like escape room-esque puzzle things going on. Like I only think I really solved one so far, but I'm kind of like, okay, could be something to kind of, when you get bored, go do a bit of that. So I like that element of it.
But like there's not enough rewards. I'm sure we both solved the piano puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go down that stairway and I'm like, okay, this door's locked. So I looked around for the key for a bit and I searched the whole house and I don't think I found anything. So I'm like, this is a waste of time.
Yeah, well, so now I'm like, okay, do you have to do more of the missions to unlock things to progress that? I don't know. Like I found like outside there was a shed or something that had like a checklist of things you're kind of trying to find in the house. But yeah, I don't know. There's potential there, but it might be nothing. I have to admit it could be completely irrelevant. But
I just think there should be more rewards for the player for searching the house. Like they should be much more abundant to make that a satisfying gameplay mechanic.
Yeah, I mean they do have you can find cash throughout the missions, which are like optional. You don't have to do that, but if you go out of your way to gather more cash, you bring that back, you unlock upgrades and stuff, which kind of works for me. But yeah, other than that, I'm liking it. I don't know if I'm saying I'm committed to finishing it, but I'm hearing it's like a 7 to 9 hour, which is not bad. I think it's actually a little longer than a lot of the other campaigns. But yeah, I don't know. What are you saying, Frank?
Well, I don't think I finished a Call of Duty campaign in it's gotta be 10 years at least, but I've played almost all of them for a couple hours. I've played multiplayer in everyone, I think. But I was like, I'm kind of in the mood for a very short blockbuster experience on the new TV. And I fired it up and I'm like, I am really enjoying this. And I can't remember who the lead team is on this one. Is it?
I want to say
it's
Raven.
Treyarch, I think. Oh, I thought it was Treyarch. I could be wrong. Let's confirm.
I feel like I saw Raven in the credits, but
well, they're all in every.
Yeah, I guess they all kind of do something.
It's in there, but I thought it was an Infinity Ward one, but I think they're Modern Warfare, right? Either way, why I like this campaign more than previous ones I've played is the lighting. I can see where enemies are, and I find sometimes I play these campaigns and I don't even know where I'm being shot from and getting really overwhelmed and frustrated. And whether it's a daytime or nighttime scenario, I think the maps are really well lit and player pathways are illuminated in a very good way. I haven't gotten lost in any map yet, but they also allow for flexibility. The stealth mission I really liked. It felt like a GoldenEye. I felt like I was playing a modern GoldenEye, and I was really enjoying it.
Okay, I figured it out. For jump on, Treyarch developed the multiplayer. Raven did the single player.
Okay,
according to Wikipedia.
So I was like, fine. I played last year's campaign a bit, and there was an open world section, and that just like completely stalled me. I'm like, this isn't that great. And then I was like, oh, this is back to Call of Duty campaigns, kind of on rails, a little more freedom than usual, and this is what I want. And then I hit the open world mission, which I will say is better than last year's. Like last year's felt really generic. The first open world mission I hit, it was like a bunch of shipping crates, and it was like pretty lame. This one, you're like detonating Scud missile launchers, and it was kind of a fun thing to do. There's a bit of like 90s nostalgia in this game, which I mean, I grew up when all that stuff was going on, so it's like,
yeah. Did you hear like when you're inside that event or whatever, and you're walking around talking to people? I overheard somebody was like, "I can't believe Norwood missed that kick."
No, I didn't hear that. For real?
Yeah.
Oh God!
So they're throwing some '90s pop culture in there.
Bill Clinton's on stage. It's it's interesting. So I will admit, when I hit the open world mission, I felt the need to exhaust literally everything, and I was feeling the burn by the end of it.
Yeah.
So I took a break and played multiplayer, but so far, I think I'm actually going to finish this campaign, which is the first time in a long time. So I think it's pretty good, or I'm just in the mood for it. Could be a bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, reviews seem to be generally like it's a better than average campaign, maybe the best in a long time. I haven't really been following previous, games that closely, so I don't know, but yeah,
it looks really good.
Yeah.
And as you said, when it comes to feedback and user experience for shooting mechanics, no one is as good as Call of Duty, and no one even comes close. It is so satisfying, whether it's single player or multiplayer, headshots, damage. They just have the polish and user experience down pat for a shooter. So,
yeah, like
I don't know why other game companies haven't learned from them yet. It's shocking to me.
Yeah, I was thinking about it compared to other shooters, and I think part of it maybe just because it's like a little bit more of a realistic, grounded approach. Like you kind of, when you shoot somebody, it's like one or two quick shots, boom, move on. Whereas like some games, enemies are just like these bullet sponges, and it's not as fun. I don't know. It's not as satisfying.
Even in the stealth mission, I think they've come the closest to the N64 Rumble Pack and like the satisfaction of the silenced PP7 and all that stuff in GoldenEye, and it felt like that again. So I kind of hope there's some more stealth missions like that, because I thought that was really good. But yeah, 4 hours in, it's good. I'm enjoying it, and I'll just say I fired up multiplayer for about 2.5 hours tonight with Dwayne, and I was loving it. There are a couple maps that. One map is at an old like mini mall or strip mall with a video store that was kind of asymmetrical and a really good map. And then there's one in a soccer stadium. I was really impressed with the maps I played to start the game today. So I'm in on Black Ops 6. Have not tried zombies. I want to get into zombies so bad. it's just the learning curve is crazy. I have no one to play with. I don't want to play with strangers. I just want to get good at zombies.
I mean, if Dwayne's got it, then we could try it sometime. I don't know how.
And I want to play with people who are good at zombies, Sean. Dwayne, yes, you know. Sean's frozen.
Perfect timing for that joke, then.
He quit. He raged.
Is zombies the what should we wait for, Sean?
Yeah, whatever. We'll keep going.
Is zombies the kind of like Left 4 Dead style gameplay?
Yeah. I think no. So in the last game, zombies had kind of taken the Warzone approach, where it was like a one big open map and you're doing different like missions within the field. I think this one has gone back to the old school kind of a map where you have to unlock things and buy weapons and, just, the classic zombies. I don't know for sure yet, but that's the impression I've gotten in the game. So,
okay. So we just received a message from Sean. His power has gone out.
Yeah.
So we will keep it rolling. And if he comes back, he comes back. So I'll talk about my Call of Duty experience then.
Oh, yes. I forgot.
Let me tell you, I'm about maybe half an hour in, 0% campaign, 0% multiplayer. I've started install on 2 different devices, an Xbox Series X and my PC. And a little frustrated, actually. It wasn't so bad once it started going, but at first I hit, go, and I'm just clicking through mindlessly. And then all of a sudden it's trying to install like 250 something gigs on my machine. I was like, what is this thing installing? So then I cancel it. I look and I start up again. And sure enough, I noticed there's this little thing like, do you want to customize your install? I'm like, okay, this time I'm customizing my install and it installs like 2 different giant multiplayer packs, the campaign, then Call of Duty 3, Modern Warfare 3 for some reason, and the multiplayer for that, and then like 6 content packs. So on the PC anyways, it seemed like there was less.
3 thing is on PlayStation 5, there's no platinum trophy for this game. It just acts as DLC for Modern Warfare 3 because they have that like online hub and everything kind of gets filtered through that. So that's what's happening there. I think they have like a hub of achievements, I'm presuming, on Xbox, so it all gets filtered into there. I do not disagree. It is extremely confusing navigating all these content packs, and there's been many times in the past I've gone to play a Call of Duty game and thought I downloaded everything, and I still hadn't. I mean, and like you said, the sizes are astronomical. It is out of control. Yeah.
So I had the intention to play, but it's been a little crazy. So didn't get there yet, but I don't even think I launched that hub thing you guys were talking about. So, I did launch the hub. Confusing. No, that's right. I did launch the hub when I installed it on the Xbox Series X because I waited for it to like ready to start, hoping I could maybe jump into the campaign. And of course it's just a multiplayer or like probably one map of the multiplayer or something. So then I basically stopped and had to wait for, the 150 gigs to download or whatever. And then by that time, my kids came home and bye-bye gaming time. Thank you, install. So, yeah, didn't get into it, unfortunately. Really wanted to, but maybe next week.
It feels like a game you will enjoy. And a nice
I do always appreciate the polish of the Call of Duty games. Like they are AAA. They're the definition of AAA game. Like, right, I would put them in like probably Rockstar games right up there in like the top echelon of extremely polished. And the fact that they come out, every year I know they're on like 3-year development cycles, but still the fact that they're able to coordinate and put out, steadily improving games and just keeping that polish level so high is very impressive. But
I would put some of the Sony AAA stuff at the top.
Okay, sure.
I think Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica are the most polished games.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. Yeah. Insomniac, I would But I'd be a tier down, I think, on Insomniac.
There's a few bugs here and there in some of the Spider-Man games, but yeah, I was thinking about it. Especially, I've been playing some Red Dead Online, and even playing Red Dead. Like some of the character models, I know they're PS4, but God of War was PS4 character models, and they look incredible. They are. I cannot. The character models at the Sony AAA studios are absolutely amazing.
Well, I mean, just go down this rabbit hole. You're talking about an open world, like huge open world, versus in God of War, like a lot of the stuff is very corridor heavy, not as much, geometry and stuff to push. They can control the loading much easier than like Red Dead 2.
But I think Horizon, as an open world game, has equally good character models and polish. So, yeah, well, that's a good engine too. Anyway, let's get into what we played. Huck, what do you got?
Okay, well, I only played one thing, and I played Balatro, and I played, I don't know, probably 10 runs or so.
Had you played it at all before?
No, this is my first time playing it before. I've never played it before. I was playing on Xbox.
Okay.
So I did.
Game Pass now?
No, I got it at the library. They have a physical version now. So I fired it up, and I knew it was kind of like poker with a twist sort of thing. So I like card games and stuff like that. So I thought I would pick it up pretty quick, and it was really easy to figure out, to be honest. Like the whole like blinds thing. You have like 3 rounds of So I don't know. I can't remember how much we got into it. Basically, you play hands of cards, and based on poker, and depending on how good that is, you get a certain number of points. And each round, you have to gain, let's say, 600 points, and a hand, let's say, it's worth 100 to anywhere to up to 300, based on what multipliers you get. So then you basically have to play 5 hands and try to beat 600, and then you can get these multiplier cards that increase the values of the cards you play and the hands you can play, and eventually that score keeps going up and up and up, and it gets harder and harder and harder, et cetera, et cetera. And there's like boss battles that take away certain cards or debuff certain cards or a whole bunch of random stuff. Now, I've only unlocked 2 or 3 different card packs, so I don't really know how, as you unlock more stuff, how that influences the game that much. But I've done 3 rounds. Just this last time I played, I think, what is it, 8? You have to kind of go through 8 rounds of 3 to beat the game, quote unquote, beat the game. And I got to like
strategy to like skipping blinds as well. You can get,
I haven't really figured out why you would do that yet, but, I'll have to, I guess, what is the strategy behind that?
It just depends. So each blind has like, you either have to play it or you can skip it. Now, if you skip it, like depending on what kind of build you're doing or what kind of deck, like you can gain money to spend while you play the round, but you might get a reward that you'd rather have and just skip the round. But, if you don't play enough rounds, you won't level up enough to be able to take on higher rolls. So it's kind of like a pretty good risk reward mechanic. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize you got something for skipping, or potentially got something for skipping. I thought you just choose not to play, which I didn't know what the reason for doing that would be. But yeah, I like there's also, so like Frank kind of mentioned, there's this shop at the end of each round that you get money to pay to buy things with. And they kind of split it up into, you can buy Joker cards, which are essentially like little boosts you can get, or little specialty items to like buff certain types of cards, like spades will give you a multiplier or something like that. Or, every time you play an odd card, you get some other boost. And then there's the ability to upgrade your hands. So if you play Full House, let's say, you could there's different levels of Full House. So you would get, this is old school. Dwyer returns in an old school fashion. You got the candles out?
Freaking me out right now. You got to check out youtube.com for Game Junk. Sean is literally on a alien space station. I don't know what.
I had to find some lights. I mean, it's completely like pitch black in my downstairs office. So, and I can't really see you guys very well. Can you hear me? Okay.
we
Yeah,
can
it's
hear
not
you.
bad, surprisingly.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay. Well,
We can roll with it.
Yeah, let's keep going.
So we were just talking some Balatro, and I was talking about the different types of things you could purchase. And you get these tarot cards, they call them, which is sort of like a random buff to certain types of cards. It's kind of in line with the Jokers, but a little more specific to only, one or two cards, and then it goes away forever, whereas the Jokers stick around. So I feel like it's
I
really...
think tarot cards generally like permanently change your deck, or
Yeah.
Right, like the cards, they manipulate the cards in your deck, where Jokers affect multipliers
Each round.
and
Yeah.
like what happens when you play a hand.
Right. Yeah. So overall, though, I feel like I've got most of the concepts behind the game down. I don't know if it adds even more stuff as I, do more rounds and unlock more stuff. And I think they said there's like 150 Jokers to unlock. So it could just be that there's more stuff that gets unlocked later. But overall, really enjoying it. The loop is just like, why people play solitaire. It's a similar, just like kind of mindless, card game that just keeps going and is fun, enjoyable. So I can understand why this game kind of lit up, YouTube and the internet for, a couple weeks or a couple months. Because it's really enjoyable, and just a nice, relaxing card game that it definitely is like, okay, one more run, or even just like next hand, like let's keep going. And so I think the furthest I got was like, I think I made it to the 7th of 8th round and then failed out. So I got, pretty far, and I don't know, my strategy is always to get as many of the like hand buff cards as possible, try to make straights or full houses give you more, and try to find Jokers and with more multiplier. But I still don't know if that is an optimal strategy or not, because obviously I haven't beaten it yet. But
I think you typically want to try to build your deck for a specific hand type and try to level up that hand with planet cards. But there's been many nights where I played Balatro till 4 a.m. and just I had to make myself stop playing. So it will be in my top 5 for game of the year. Don't know where in the top 5 yet, but it's a top 5 game for me.
That's bold. I was actually fiddling around with my top 5 just kind of right now, and it hasn't cracked my top 5, but I'm gonna have to keep playing because strong year this year, and we'll see if I can crack it.
Everyone said it was going to be a shitty year for games. And
I know I'm already knocking games off my top 10. Like, what is that? I normally at this point in time, I haven't even played 8 games that I want to put on my top 10, and I'm rushing to find the last 2 to slide in there. So I'm feeling pretty good about this year. And there's still a bunch of games I haven't even played yet that I think could crack the top 10.
All right, Sean, your power's back, but you're still in phone mode. Do you want to?
Yeah, still rebooting here. Okay.
You sound let's go for it.
We'll keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk Star Wars Outlaws. So, had played maybe 10, 12 hours previously, and then I realized my Ubisoft Plus subscription was coming up for renewal. And of course, the new Assassin's Creed isn't coming out until next year now. So I was like, okay, I don't really want to keep paying for this. Let's just plow through this and finish it. And, I was enjoying the game for the most part. And they also put out a new patch not that long ago, which supposedly helped a bit with some of the stealth sections that were really frustrating. And I'm not sure, I think they tweaked the speeder bike handling and a few other things. Like, people seem to be generally reacting positively to the changes. So I just went back and started playing, and I got back into it, and I ended up enjoying it a fair bit. It's one of those cases where I do kind of agree with the review scores. It's probably like between a 75 and an 80 for me. But, that's not bad. Like there's still a certain amount of subjectivity in there, and I think if you are a Star Wars fan, there's a lot to like. There's some cool missions where you're like infiltrating Jabba's palace. There's like a mission where you go into like a Sarlacc pit to retrieve something. There's some familiar characters pop up here and there, and it has that feel of Star Wars. I think they did a pretty good job with that, and I enjoyed exploring the different planets. There's some areas that I didn't really do much of. I didn't do a lot of the space combat. I didn't do a lot of the Sabacc card game, which that's something, honestly, based on the success of Balatro, I feel like they could take that and release it as like its own standalone mobile game or something, and people would probably get into it. But yeah, I mean, and obviously I didn't do a ton of side missions. I kind of just focused through as much as I could. But I think the thing is, I still kind of stand by what we initially said in our first reactions. Like, it doesn't start off that great. And I think, some of the early stealth missions, you don't have a lot of tools. A lot of the early combat encounters, you don't have, as you start to unlock abilities and better gear, you have more options and it just becomes more fun. So,
are you playing in widescreen mode, or did you switch out of that?
I'm playing whatever the default is. I believe that is the widescreen mode.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, and visually, I thought it looked pretty great. There's been a few glitches here and there, nothing game breaking. I did have one mission where I had to talk to someone to start the mission, and it was grayed out. And I thought it was gonna bone me. I thought I was done, but I just restarted the Xbox and it was fine after that. So I believe it is launching on Steam next month, I think. So I don't know if that's also been a factor in the poor sales and stuff, but I guess, I would just say if you're kind of interested, you liked what you saw in the trailers, I feel like it kind of lives up to what they offered. Reviews have been kind of lukewarm, but if you're a Star Wars fan, I think you kind of, there's something there. So give it a chance, I guess is what I would say.
Give it a little run and let us know if you got boned in the comments on youtube.com. Okay. The only other thing I played was Neva. I have completed Neva. It's even shorter than Gree, I think. It's quite short, but I really liked it. I'm not quite sure if I like Gree or Neva more. I liked Neva more at the start. By the end, I wasn't quite sure, but definitely a beautiful game. Some pretty good pacing. Reminded me of when I was designing Embers of Miriam, trying to alternate chase, puzzle, platforming. It was kind of switching up what you're doing for the most part. So I like when games do that. I think that's super important for variety and pacing, and I thought it did a great job with that stuff. Combat did get a little tiresome by the end, but I think they mixed it up with not amazing, but mild enemy variety. And it's a pretty cool game, worth checking out.
Nice. Yeah, I got to finish that.
Might make my top 10. I doubt it.
Okay. I have a couple other quick things. I don't know if either of you guys have other stuff.
No, I'm done. That's it. Only just Balatro for me.
I have nothing else.
Okay, got a couple quick Halloween picks potentially for people. So I checked out this game called Home Safety Hotline, which I guess it kind of falls into this subgenre of Papers, Please likes. Is that the thing? Games where you kind of have to you talk to someone, you have to kind of catch them on a lie or try to figure out something about what they're saying to progress. And so the idea is you're kind of, you're a hotline operator. People call in and it starts off, they're calling with sort of typical home problems. Like maybe they have black mold or they have an infestation of mice or something like that. And you have this sort of wiki of information you're looking through to help them out. and you're trying to
It
figure out
looks.
what
I was
problem.
going to say it looks a bit like a Windows 3, like 3.1 game. Like you're navigating a desktop.
Right. And like when you click through the wikis, there's like a little bit of a delay, like as if you're on dial-up or something. Um, I don't know if that's,
Almost looks like you're accessing an old CD-ROM.
Yeah, kind of. So it starts off, people are calling on with these kind of standard problems, but then as you progress through the game, you start to get these weird entries being unlocked in the wiki that are more like supernatural, like trolls and like wisps and like I don't know, just different really weird things. And then people are calling in, and sometimes they're like, the calls are actually voice acted. And the voice acting is not bad. People are kind of sometimes freaking out, or like you hear screaming in the background and stuff. And so all you're trying to do is identify what their problem is and then sending them the information on that problem. But it gets tricky. And then there's sort of like a meta story that's going throughout the game as you progress. And, it's like 3 or 4 hours. Kind of played it at times as a family, actually. Like it was kind of weird. Like everybody was shouting out like, oh, I think it's this, I think it's that. And it was kind of fun. So, we enjoyed that. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, so I tried out this game called RetroRealms Arcade, which is, I started seeing some reviews pop up for it, and they were pretty positive, but I had heard nothing about this game. And it's got I guess it's kind of like a hub where they're planning to add like multiple games to it. But the first 2 that they're launching with are Halloween, based on the movie Halloween, and Ash versus Evil Dead, based on the TV show. And they're kind of like retro 8-bit side scroller. I don't know if I would say beat 'em up games, but it kind of reminded me of like Splatterhouse a bit. I only played the Halloween one. But the weird thing is, like, the way they're selling this feels very predatory, maybe. Like, it just feels like
I'm looking at it on Steam, and the images they have don't even show the retro games. It just shows like the hub world with the arcades, and each game like is $38 or $34.
Yeah, so they're a little overpriced for what they are. I think they're a little cheaper on Xbox for some reason. They were like 31, and then I had like a $5 off thing. I was like, oh, I'll give it a try. But it was mainly because it's developed by Way Forward, who I generally really like all of their kind of retro Metroidvania type games that they do. And like I said, I saw some pretty positive reviews, so I thought I'd check it out. And well, first of all, like I said, buying it is really confusing. I actually bought just the Halloween add-on, and then I went to play it, and it said you don't own this game. It's like you have to buy a bundle with Halloween and the Retro Arcade Hub, and if you don't, you can't start it up. It was really, I was like, oh my god, this is terrible.
That's weird.
And then they also have so there's the 2 games. You can play through the Halloween one as Ash, or you can play through the Evil Dead one as Michael Myers. And they also have additional characters you can buy as DLC. So like Jamie Strode or Laurie Strode, and I can't remember who the character is from Ash vs. Evil Dead, but again, it just seems like they're trying to get as much money out of horror fans essentially as possible. But the game itself was okay. There's kind of this mechanic where you can switch into this nightmare realm, and you kind of like sometimes in order to navigate through the world, you get stuck and you switch to that realm, and there's different paths. And Michael Myers handles very kind of slow and which I don't love, but I guess it makes sense for Michael Myers. But it was just kind of like a retro side scroller. It didn't really seem to have any sort of there's some hidden collectibles, but it didn't seem to be Metroid-like in any sense. And I don't know. I guess overall, I would say I was kind of disappointed. And based on the price point and stuff, I would say, yeah, maybe hold off on this one. But I don't know. Thought I'd mention it for some hardcore horror fans who might be interested anyway. And I don't know. It looks like you go into this arcade and there's additional cabinets that are just covered up. So I assume they're going to be releasing more. I just don't know what they are. So
This feels like a game for Jay.
yeah, could be.
He can play for 10 minutes. He'll get a kick out of it.
It's perfect for that.
Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So is that everything?
I think that's it.
We're done. I didn't
Wow.
play any horror games like I promised I would for Halloween. I blew it. But I watched lots of horror movies. Okay. You can check us out at youtube.com/gamejunk. Discord links are there as well. Leave some comments, let us know what you're playing, what you want us to talk about, whatever. Like, subscribe, all that garbage. Let us know. Sean, what else should they do? You're the king of this shit.
I mean, you can follow us on Twitter and stuff. We have a TikTok now. We haven't really been posting in the last couple of weeks. But
I knew
that's
you
something.
knew this shit. What's the TikTok? Game Junk Podcast?
I believe so. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, getting some huge hits on that thing. Blowing up, the bed stacking. That's going to wrap it up for this week. We'll hopefully get some news. Has anything major come out release-wise?
Well,
Dragon Age.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dragon
right.
Age, which I really hope there's a EA Play trial on that because I do want to check it out. Reviews seem kind of positive. But I haven't been able to figure out if it does or not. So let me know if you know.
Yeah, I'm curious to try it. Don't know if I can fit another RPG in this year.
Mhm.
And I feel like it'll go on sale relatively soon. So I might hold off. All right. Thank you for listening or watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.